My name is Brendan Gabriel. I'm a member of the Kwantlen First Nation. I've been a professional artist since I was 15. I'm 44 years old now, so 29 years. I have the good fortune of working with graffiti artist Desimundo and Pancho Pescador, combining each other's strong artistic skills and telling this story that we're going to tell on this mural. It's going to be one of those historic moments in Kwantlen Polytechnic University's history, but also in the whole community, like in the whole region. I think it's going to be an important.
Well, I ended up here because of the KDocs Film Festival. I'm featured in the Alice Street documentary, which is about a mural that me and Pancho did in downtown Oakland. And me and Brandon have been talking for like a year about doing some projects together. KDocs somehow asked for us to come back a second time. And this time they're like, well, hey, can these guys paint a wall? And they wanted me and Pancho. And so we ended up, getting a location in the library and had the most amazing, experience and reception here.
Everybody's been very kind and helpful, and everybody's been very engaged and excited about the project. Besides the challenges that we have, we've been very supported, so that makes everything easier.
There was the initial challenge always of doing long distance design process, where I'm in Oakland and Brandon's out here and then Pancho's in Chile traveling at the same time. And like, how do we all get our voices in this?
Prior to us coming on site to do the mural, we created a grid system to help us scale up to the full-size mural panel that we're working on. This massive mural that we're creating is going to be placed in a library. A library is a repository of stories. We know that when we create this art piece, our story has to be important and powerful and compelling. We wanted to create a simple symbol that denotes a movement of people. So we created this graffiti icon of the solidarity fists. We thought this would be the most simple way to capture that idea in a large format without getting too detailed. We've done a portrait of a very famous Indigenous activist. Her name is Kat Norris. She's from Layakson First Nation from Vancouver Island. Very prominent figure in Indigenous activism in British Columbia. She recently passed away. She passed away in the summer of 2022. We wanted her to be the focal point of this art piece. Pancho Pescador did this portrait of her. And the orange colors that we chose for the panel are representative of the orange t-shirt movement. So the Every Child Matters movement. We wanted to make a reference to it. So all in all, we have 6 panels, and each panel is 10.5 feet wide in conjunction with each other. It'll be 24 feet in height, which is very impressive. It took 2 weeks of production, and it really came together. It's very striking in my mind. I don't think we could have done a better job on it, really. For me, this art piece are these connections. This story of Kwantlen people, Indigenous people, how we were the underdogs, not considered for higher learning, to being center stage in the development of its programming, center stage in its legacy that it's having in the community, and center stage in what the future is going to look like for the university itself. And I think it's important, and I think it's about time. I'm very grateful for this opportunity that KPU has provided. There's lots of buzz in the environment about our presence here as artists.
We all have creativity and different levels of creativity. And what makes us human is how we express ourselves.
But yeah, she's the other.
Some more surgery.
Be careful with the thing, we can cut your finger.
Yeah, you lost one. Maybe.
Motion capture camera? Yeah. So he's taken that and added a webcam to it. So the two images align.
I don't know if it does it count if it's yourself? That's him, right?
Hi there, my name is Kristina Bradt. I am an artist and the curator and founder of the Tiny Art Vending Machine project here in Windsor, Ontario. The Tiny Art Vending Machine is exactly what it sounds like. It's a vending machine that kind of travels around, and when you put in 2 toonies or $4, what comes out is this little 4-inch capsule filled with tiny art from local artists here in Windsor. Everyone gets paid an artist fee up front. They all become part of the project. They all get the same exposure and advertising and all of these things because it's randomized. To keep my costs down, to limit my plastic consumption for this project, anyone that recycles the capsule and gives it back to me is entered into win a prize. As this process goes on, not only do they get to participate in my project, but they connect with local business owners, festivals, other people in the community, and they may be able to use this as a jumping off point to further their artistic career. Brody McPhail, one of the artists featured in the vending machine, is a local artist, an illustrator, and graphic designer who does some really beautiful work. And someone found his work in the vending machine, and they're actually out of province, and he was able to get a gig that way. And I think that's really important because while this project started here in Windsor, Essex, he's able to build his career and meet people and move forward even beyond just our community. All the proceeds that go from selling these capsules, which are $4 a piece, go back into the project. And I'm able to pool the funds together to continuously come up with these artist fees and commission more artists in the future. Forward about 8 months, here we are, and I have 11 artists in the machine. 2 or 3 more that are already being commissioned and on the way. And we've been able to connect with these festivals and these local businesses. It's been in about 12 locations as well. And I'm just really excited because we didn't know where it was going to end, but there's so many possibilities. Potentially the next step could be buying another machine and expanding, having multiple machines here in Windsor-Essex, or even traveling to other smaller cities across Ontario. And I guess if we're dreaming a little bit bigger, maybe across Canada too.
My name is Vidal. I'm a multidisciplinary artist, muralist, arts educator, and musician based in Toronto, but I grew up here in Mississauga. In 2021, I was selected by the city of Mississauga to transform Sculpture Court Skate Park into a vibrant, diverse digital mural series, celebrating and inspired by local talented Mississauga community members that use the space to hone their craft, to inspire, create, and engage others in the community. I titled this series Ebb and Flow because of this constant change in energy that skateboarders and breakdancers channel to create something cosmic. Being in a skateboard community and growing up in the music community and breakdance community is this need to share and always be encouraging for others to get involved and give back. So I think that's an extension of this mural. It just made sense to just put the people that I know that use the space to hone their crafts and they're just skateboarding or they're breakdancing every day in these spaces. It makes sense to have them up on these walls.
So stuff like this that Ray captured, from these photos of events we were doing, imagine special, they're very special. Not only to us, but really to the fabric of our community, what it means to many people in the community. And it's important to educate and share these things and pay it forward so that future generations don't have to reinvent the wheel. They can build on top of what's big and built, you know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important to tell these stories and to acknowledge the people who are involved in these stories respectfully.
With my art practice, the more walls I have, the more I can uplift community members and the people I know. I see it as a duty now. It's like I started this out and I was able to see the impact and empower and uplift my friends and my family's voices, and I think I could just do so much more. It's definitely a work in progress, and I'm going to be taking this project and just echoing it in different ways. In closure, I just want to give acknowledgement and a big thanks to all the people that were involved in this project. I want to thank the city of Mississauga, the curators, and all the following skateboarders, dancers, artists, photographers, and videographers that participate in the project and help put this video together for Big Pictures. Thank you for your time, open hearts, and open minds.
Hi, my name is Sara Vargas Nessi, and I am the artist behind the mural Light Source. We are here at Centennial College, inside the lobby of Story Art Center, where Light Source is located. The address is 951 Carlo Avenue. I have invited you here today because I want you to take a closer look at the mural and tell you a little bit of the story behind it. 2019, the mural was unveiled, and it took nearly a year to plan and design. In 2022, the mural was included in Inuit Blanche Toronto. The images are based on my continuous project called Shadows, which takes inspiration from themes like nature, time, and movement. Also, shadows serve as an invitation for you to take a closer look at the small things in life that sometimes we will take for granted and are often overseen. Light Source is a two-story installation mural, measuring approximately 22 feet by 95 feet long. It's comprised by 37 panels, each of them measuring approximately 30 inches by 75 inches tall. All of the panels were printed and dry mounted onto aluminum boards. I integrated traditional and digital art by photographing natural lights and shadows over my mixed media paintings. The artwork symbolizes a story being told along the wall, to encourage everyone who visits Story Art Center to tell their unique stories and to become storytellers. The design of Light Source is based on telling a story, using colors, light, and shadows. The white panels symbolize the silences of every story, while the windows are the real aspects that arise during the story. The images seem to merge with the landscape behind them and glow during the night. Thank you for taking a closer look at Light Source with me. I hope you have the chance to visit in person someday.
I have been lucky enough to travel a good portion of our world, and I have seen many big pictures, especially murals. They have taken over the world, and in many countries, they have left the realm of illegal graffiti to become welcome elements of our environment. But they aren't new, and what changed isn't their content. It is how we view them. After asking around, I gathered that what marks people the most isn't commercial and rarely displays words. Sometimes it is a simple line that stops us in the morning, interrupted, a profile emerging from the wall where the night before had shown nothing at all, the beginning of something, the potential of having a future. Sometimes it is a whole alleyway put together by an artist collective in coordination with the city. But personally, what struck me the most was a couple of artist gatherings in Eastern Europe. Entire abandoned complexes collapsing on themselves with cracks and rebar and chipping paint taken over by an army of misfits, artists and creative minds. Walls covered in graffiti and masterpieces living together in harmony, not knowing where to draw the line between artwork and vandalism. Images were all jumbled together, their meaning crumbled. What I was witnessing was generations of thoughts, some form of history of the city's creative minds. I believe that the reason why we relate to murals, what they all have in common, wherever and whenever, is that they have a life, they shape our surroundings, they time it. Inception, interaction with neighbors and passerbys, decrepited, collapse, cover over. They anchor us, they amuse us, even anger us sometimes. They disappear and reappear, make us feel like kids, like we might know the creators. They are so visible and yet so anonymous. Big pictures inevitably talk about big ideas. Sometimes it has a commercial purpose, but most important is the shift it asks our society to make. Integrating, decolonizing, and especially popularizing, making art and expression available to all. Museums versus the streets. No more glass boxes and security protection. Interactions are encouraged. Big ideas can spread faster.
Hello, thank you for being here. This is going to be ultra quick guided tour through our virtual reality exhibitions. I'm a member of Street Art Belgrade team and my name is Ljiljana Radosevic. I'm an art historian and curator and I have been researching graffiti and street art for more than 20 years. So this exhibition is called, as you can see, Take 3 Loving Street Art Belgrade, and this was because it took me 3 tries to figure out the optimal use of graffiti and street art material in new technologies. So on one hand, I had to keep in mind the nature of the medium, so the ephemerality, the legal status, the fact that it strongly resembles intangible heritage, and on the other hand, I had to work with new technology prescriptions, so to say, where I had to use only the photos in high resolution. Otherwise, if you put something that is not of a high resolution in the exhibition and then you put the headset on, it's just a pixelization. So this was very restrictive and that was due to my art history conditioning, which says that you really always have to start from the oldest materials that you have. Otherwise, it's not going to be good exhibition. But there were some good parts in this research, and that was the fact that we could actually scan a whole 3D wall through photogrammetry system. And I do believe that this is going to be the future of graffiti documentation and preservation, because it does give you this extraordinary sensation that you can actually walk by the wall as if you were next to it in the real life. So when the time came to do our second exhibition, I thought that I got smarter and faster and that it's going to be much easier to do this new one. But due to the specificity of the topic, which was this connection between street art scenes in Serbia and in France, then it still took me 2 years' time to collect materials that I could actually use in this exhibition. And that was really time consuming and stressful. And again, we had to deal with a lot of things that we had to deal with in the first exhibition as well. But we were lucky enough that this space, which was ready-made space, and as you can see, it's kind of semi-open space, was so large that there was a possibility to put this large pieces in this garden system, and when you put the headset on, they really look amazing because they're in their almost original size, which is very, very impressive. And then another thing that we kind of experimented with, but we were not very happy with the outcome, was 3D scanning. So we had this very precious wall that was done by a famous French artist, Black Lorette, and we did it, but it really looks as if it's kind of a two-dimensional sculpture, and it looks nothing special. So next time we're gonna keep with scanning like we did in the previous exhibition, so just to have a whole wall and then to be able to walk by it. But in this exhibition we also figured out one of the very important things, and this is how to deal with materials of not so good quality that we would also need in our exhibitions as well, and that is to use the video. So you put a little screen at the exhibition, and then you have the video of materials that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see, which I think was pretty good already. And yes, these exhibitions are available online and they're for free, so if you'd like to enjoy them, I strongly recommend that you take a headset, but I have to admit that they look pretty amazing in net view as well. So thank you for being here.
Hello, my name is Laura Macaluso, and together with Lori Goldstein and Allison Verplaced of the Public Art Archive, I created this new digital exhibit called Street Scene, CETA Murals New Haven and the Late 1970s. CETA Murals Remembered is at the intersection of public art and public history. Crossing disciplinary boundaries between the two, the exhibit showcases the local application of a national program called the Comprehensive Employment and Training Act, or CETA, legislated by Congress in 1973. With CETA funds, municipalities across the country were directed to offer a jobs to work program, but how each community pursued that goal was open-ended. Incredibly, like the Works Progress Administration, or WPA, of 40 years before, the arts, including visual, musical, theatrical, culinary, and so much more, were welcomed within the CETA framework, and many communities, from Los Angeles to Minneapolis to New Haven, put the funds to use by hiring emerging artists. Here's an example of two CETA youth programs happening in the late 1970s. On the left, the Richard C. Lee High School in New Haven was muralized inside and out. And on the right is the Puerto Rican Action Community Network of Fairhaven, and they painted a hardware store bicentennial mural in 76. The street scene exhibit demonstrates the remarkable results of CETA funding in New Haven. The last remaining CETA murals were still visible until the 2010s, when redevelopment of buildings destroyed the ghostly imprints of the original brightly colored murals. In this exhibit, 17 murals were resurrected using digitization and mapping. The opportunity to revisit the Forgotten Mural program was possible because one of the original CETA artists, Ruth Resnick Johnson, had kept hold of her personal archive of photographic images and archival materials for more than 30 years. Using a digital platform to create this exhibit enabled a more holistic view of the workings of the program and its impact beyond what previous print-based scholarship could offer. Mapping allowed us, for the first time, to see where CETA murals were located and to assess their number and placement against New Haven's other examples of public art. This is possible because the city has utilized the Public Art Archive since 2010, making available hundreds of examples of public art throughout the city through the freely accessible website. And this is a map comparison of CETA murals on the left versus New Haven public art on the right, centered around, or not, a downtown seen in the red dots. CETA youth participants painting the Spirit of 76 mural, you can see here on the right. The CETA murals were made by and for communities who had previously been left out of the visual culture of the city of New Haven, including Black, Latino, and the elderly. The CETA murals were purposely located away from the elite power structure of City Hall and Yale University, entities located downtown around the New Haven Green. Instead, the neighborhoods that had previously seen little public art up close and personal became art-making and identity-making sites of significance. Discerning CETA's unique place in New Haven's long history of public art making was part of our street scene project. And this is the gymnasium of the Richard C. Lee High School. CETA murals may be gone in a physical sense from the public spaces of New Haven, but they had an important role to play in the 1970s, a decade of economic stagnation, decaying cities, and continuing racial strife and struggle. In New Haven, CETA murals were a meaningful avenue through which the visual arts became a tool for supporting a collective sense of place and an embrace of more diverse visual representation in the public sphere. Today, New Haven is well known for its community-centered art making, but the CETA murals were the first. Although there is more to learn still about CETA in New Haven, its successes and limitations, its impact on individual participants and the city, others are doing this work around the country too, and will continue for the foreseeable future. Thank you so much for listening to the presentation on street scene, and I hope you visit our exhibit soon.